Hello and welcome. I'm so glad you're joining me today. I have an invitation for you, and I'm going to give you 20 minutes as to why I'd love to have a conversation with you personally, because from my heart to your heart, I'd like to offer you a process that you can use now to make your life better, your practice better, and to help more people. So, welcome from wherever you're joining me. For whatever reason you're joining me, I'm glad you're here. And I'm going to give you some tools. My name is Linda Kroll, and for 35 years, I've been an internal family systems therapist, mediator, attorney, Chopra certified teacher of meditation, yoga, and Ayurveda. And I created a process called compassionate mediation to help people add passion to their marriage or compassion to their divorce. But I want to give you the tools because this process works with everyone. I've been an individual counselor, a marital counselor, a divorce mediator, and I've codified the process that I've put together 35 years to train other therapists, coaches, mediators, attorneys, clergy, and give you a certification that's given continuing education credits by the National Board of Certified Counselors and the International Coach Federation. So enough introduction about me. I want to know more about you. And what I'd like to know is I'd like you to take a breath. We're only going to take a few minutes here today, but I'd like you to take a breath and I'd like you to imagine your life a year from now and tell me, what would you like it to look like? What would you like your hours to be? What would you like your clients to be? What would you like your free time to be? And then think about what's in the way right now. Do you need more tools, more confidence, more support? Do you need a mentor? Do you need a group where you can find a haven for camaraderie and support? Because I want to offer all that to you in the certification. And the reason I've created a certification is because when people come to my office, and because I've been doing this for many years, and I do, as I said, individual counseling, couples counseling, divorce mediation, I'm never sure why they're coming, but there's usually some conflict. And if you see people individually, conflict can show up in a lot of different ways. People can come in depressed with eating disorders, anxiety, losing sleep. And underneath, there's a relationship that they're not dealing with or they're not dealing with effectively. I want to give you the skill set so that you can use these tools with whoever comes into your office, whether you're in person or online. So what I do is when I meet someone, I'm not sure why they come, but I have a 45-minute interview that gives me all the details about the person with whom they're having conflict. It gives me an opportunity to talk to them about coming from their higher self. And it allows me to give them a meditation to get to self, where they can have compassion for everything that they're feeling and compassion for everything the person that they're having conflict is feeling. And I do that all in 45 minutes. And in my certification, I give you the scripts, the templates, the handouts, the video lessons, the experience, the practice, so that you have that in your repertoire. Because let's face it, when we become a therapist or a coach and we get training, or if you're like me, I'm a constant learner, so I'm always training in something. And what I want to do is allow myself to also be mentored in a way where I can put into practice what I'm learning. So this certification not only gives you all the materials that you need, but it gives you an opportunity to practice. It gives you an opportunity to be mentored by me. And my compassionate mediation certification is based on my book. And Dick Schwartz, the head of internal family systems, has said about my process: divorce brings out the worst in us and often leaves lasting scars. Linda Kroll is a master at lifting couples out of their narrow perspectives. They then learn the larger lessons from their relationships and proceed on the best interest of all involved. And he said, this is relationship healing at its best. And what I want to do is I want to give you these tools in a way that you can take them, use them, expand your expertise in conflict resolution, expand your outreach, because you'll have a reputation of someone with this expertise. And also in the certification, I give you marketing tips, meaning how do you take what I'm teaching you and reach to other attorneys, clergy? How do you do a group in a community center where people can be introduced to you and how you do your work? And I also have a process where I'm going to be funneling to the people who take my training, clients that I get who I don't have time to see. So fortunately, my practice is full, and it's been full for a long time. And the reason I wanted to create a certification is because in the past, if I had 4 new clients in a day, my initial interview was exactly the same for all of them. And I realized I can teach other people to do this. So I have taught this process at the Internal Family Systems conferences in every state that they've been in. I've taught it at the American Mental Health Counselors Association. I've taught it for the Couples Institute. I've taught it in many places. And I want to give you the tools so that you can take it wherever you are now and use it moving forward. So let's take a breath and imagine that you're actually going to learn more about this. And what I'm going to say is, if you're here, it's a message that maybe if you want to go to lindacurl.com certify and answer a couple questions about yourself and find a time for us to chat. Because my certification goes very deep, is very personal, is very intimate, and I am selective about who can join the program. And that's because I find that the people who join my program have a certain spiritual awareness, have a certain essence of self-leadership or higher consciousness. They have a deep desire to serve and be of service. Maybe they're starting out and want new people, and maybe they've been practicing a long time and want new skills, or want a community where they don't have to feel so all alone. And that's what I've created. And the people in it often find just as much from each other as they do from me. And the support and the nurturing and the personal growth equals the professional expansion. So if you have any questions, put them into the comments. I'd be happy to answer them. But the reason I want to meet with you personally is because I truly want to find out where you would like to be in a year, in 6 months. If you're a permanent student like I am, you may feel overwhelmed by the amount of classes that you've already signed up for, that you haven't finished yet, that are on your to-do list. And I invite you to join me anyway, because we're going to integrate everything that you've learned, everything that you're practicing. And the certification cohort that's starting soon is really your personal group. There might be 6 to 10 people. It's going to be very small. And I do that so I can give you personalized attention. We meet once every 2 weeks for 90 minutes. And in that time, I give you training. I have a Compassionate Communication Academy that has all the videos, handouts, transcripts, scripts, everything that you need to do an initial interview in a way that is compassionate but focused. Because a lot of times, if you know, people come into your office and they want to tell you their story. And you can listen, and 45 minutes later, they may walk out of your office feeling marginally better because you listened. But I have a strategic set of questions that I give you to ask them, and I give you a script on how to ask them so that you understand, where are they in the relationship? What do they really want? How can you help them be their best self and learn how to compassionately communicate? And what I mean by compassionate communication is that they learn how to connect to their best self. And in internal family systems therapy, we talk about self as being that calm, compassionate center. Okay, there's also curious, confident, courageous, connected, creative. And I add grateful. Because when we're coming from that energy, and when we help our clients come from that energy, miracles happen. So I teach you how to tell them about being their higher self. I introduce you so that you can teach them about what are their parts. What are their parts that they push aside and aren't dealing with? What are they really feeling hurt and sad about that they're not speaking for? How are they managing their lives? Are they being hardworking? Are they being stoic? Are they being codependent? Are they putting on a pseudo self where they look like they're in self, but they're really feeling hurt and sad underneath? And then what do your clients do to get extreme? Do they eat too much, drink too much? Have they had an affair? Do they get enraged? Do they get depressed? What are your clients doing that gets extreme? And then I give you the script of how to do my 2-minute blurb. In other words, I tell everyone that comes in my office, we have a healthy self. And when we're in self, we're calm, clear, and compassionate. You know those moments? They're just moments. We're not always in self. We're in parts. And I call those parts exiles, managers, and extreme parts. And those exiles are the parts we learned in childhood weren't going to get our needs met. So if we felt sad or scared or hurt, we pushed all that aside, didn't want to deal with it. And we learned how to manage. And many of us manage by being nice, pleasing, caretaking, hardworking, stoic. And as I say, many of us put on what I call a pseudo self, where we try to pretend we're calm, but we're really feeling hurt or sad or scared or angry underneath, and we're not talking about it. So when we can't manage those exiles, out come those extreme parts, and then we behave in ways that we feel guilty about. We eat too much, we drink too much, we might get enraged, we might say things we don't mean. And then we can focus on what we did wrong and promise to do better, but we're not really unburdening the pain from the past. So I help people see that they're doing the best they know how to do, considering their level of awareness, and they can learn how to do better. And then I talk to them about their bodies and how their bodies are triggered when they have certain emotions. So it's a somatic experience as well. And then within the first 45 minutes, I do a guided meditation to get them to self. And you get all of this in the certification. You get all the materials you need, including a manual that walks them through how to be their best self, how to create a compassionate relationship, how to explore all of their options, how to understand their rights and finances, and how to create the relationship they truly desire and deserve. So, if you're here because you're interested in learning more about the certification, I invite you to go to lindakroll.com and either get the roadmap, which will give you a roadmap of the process, or go to lindakroll.com certify, tell me a little bit about yourself, and find time for a 15-minute chat. Because in this chat, like I said, I want to make sure this is a fit. I'm going to take a breath. This is my invitation from my heart to your heart. This is a chance for you to get the support that actually feels like you have a therapist, mediator, attorney, and spiritual coach in your back pocket. What I'm giving you is a skill set that transforms relationships, even if you're working with an individual. Because if an individual can become their best self, let go of their limiting beliefs and judgments about themselves and their partner, unburden pain from the past, and relate from their heart, miracles happen. And I give you a training and a template and a handout that you can give your clients on how to practice empathy, how to use I messages, and talk about those exiled feelings of hurt and fear and sadness, how to listen without reacting, without defending, without rationalizing, and how to truly empathize with the other person's perspective and make amends where they can. And I give you all of that, and you usually do that, if not in the first session, by the second session. And these processes work. I took it to a friend in Israel whose 90-year-old parents were having trouble. And she had to translate my documents so that they could understand the questions, they could listen to the meditation. And after it was a couple hours, because I had to translate, they actually could see each other in a new light. They realized they didn't have to keep the walls up around their heart. They could change the filters through which they've been judging themselves and each other. And they could understand that by learning how to empathize with the other's perspective, they could begin a whole new relationship. So Thich Nhat Hanh, great spiritual leader, says that to resolve conflict, what we need to do is stay neutral. We need to go to one party and tell them about the pain and suffering of the other party. And we have to go to the second party and tell them about the pain and suffering of the first party. That's the only way to peace, he says. And that's what we do in compassionate mediation. So let me see what questions you have, because I want to be able to answer them for you. And one of the questions I see coming in is, when are we starting? We're starting in October, and we're going to talk about whether it's a fit for you in the next week or two. And then when we start, you get access to the academy with all the videos. You get 3 months of every other week. You get to practice with the other people in the cohort. You get my mentorship for either your own personal issues, for your clients' issues, and you get your needs met because I tailor this for the people that are in the group. In other words, I have 35 years of experience, hours of videos, reams of handouts, scripts, templates. But most important, I want you to feel the support. I want you to feel that you found a home where every dream you've ever had, every thought you've ever thought about what you want to manifest is supported, is incubated, is motivated and inspired to take root. Because when it does, you become a beacon of light, which you know you already are. That's why you're here. That's why you're listening. That's why you're interested. So if you want to talk with me, go to lindakroll.com/certify and sign up for a 15-minute chat, and we'll talk about it. And if you want the roadmap, which is the outline of my process, go to lindakroll.com/roadmap. It also gives you a chance to talk with me, because it really is important that we talk. I want it to be a fit. In all my 35 years of working with individuals and couples, of doing trainings for other professionals, the thing I like least is, I guess, what I'll call marketing, when you have to put yourself out there and you have to tell people what's going on. But the only way you're going to know is if I let you know, which is why this is an invitation, a heartfelt invitation. A heartfelt invitation for you to lean in. So if you have questions about the timing or the money or the commitment or anything else, or is this a fit for you, then please find a time to talk. Because when you do, we'll see. It may be, it may not be. But in that time together, I will give you the benefit of my 35 years of experience and answer any questions you do have about your current practice or what you can do with or without the certification. And once you're in the certification, you're part of my inner community, meaning when the course is over, there's ongoing support, there's ongoing mentorship. And I have a compassionate mediation program for individuals and couples. And I have a group called WEDS, Women's Empowered Divorce Support, that's going to bring in women who are considering going through or past a separation or divorce. And those people in that group are going to be needing coaches. And the coaches I'm going to provide them are the people who are certified by me to help them. And the way you'll help them is with the manual I'll give you. So if you're a therapist, this is a skill set that you don't have, because sometimes when we're working with an individual or a couple and they're thinking of leaving, or they're not sure if they want to stay or go, then you may feel you don't have the expertise to help them. So you might refer out too soon. You may refer out to a mediator. You may refer out to an attorney. But I want to give you the information that you can give your clients. So it doesn't take a lot to learn what I'm going to offer you. And I give it to you in a format where you learn just enough where you can offer it to them. For instance, most times in marriage counseling, if one or both people have thought of leaving, they don't talk about it because they feel they're doing the wrong thing in marriage counseling. But if you've got the expertise in compassionate mediation, you welcome the parts that are ambivalent. You welcome the parts that aren't sure if they want to stay or go, because you have the expertise to support this deeper level of intimacy and connection. You welcome the ambivalence. You welcome the uncertainty. And you give them a format for discussing everything with empathy. And then they truly can explore their options. Now, you may not know what those options are. It's not, do I stay or get divorced? Some of the options are to do a postnuptial agreement. Some of the options are to get individual counseling, go out on date nights, get a legal separation, just separate. There's a myriad of options that I give you that you give them. Excuse me. And then in terms of understanding rights and finances, that doesn't have to be hard either. So if you're a therapist, you get this expertise. If you're a coach, you get all this information so that you stand out as an expert. And then you can reach out to therapists, you can reach out to attorneys, you can reach out to clergy, you can reach out to community centers and offer to do a free group on compassionate communication. Offer your services and then get new clients. Or you can go directly to lawyers and therapists in the area and say, I do have this expertise. I can coach your clients. Please send me send my information to them if you'd like. And if you're an attorney, there's ways to learn this process that give you a skill set that most attorneys don't have. And as an attorney, you may realize that when you're helping someone go through a divorce, you're also kind of their therapist. They use you for therapy, they call to vent, they call to complain, sometimes they call to cry. And when you've learned compassionate mediation, you've learned a way to help them heal. And you've learned a way to facilitate a conversation with their estranged partner that leads to healing. And I give you all of that in my certification. I give you the settlement prayer that I wrote my husband. Because when I was going through my own divorce, I was already an attorney. I became a mediator because I thought I'd mediate my own divorce, which is not a good idea. And then I became a therapist. And even with all that training, I couldn't save my dissolution from the adversarial process that I was trying to avoid. And I told myself when I was sitting in the courthouse with my soon-to-be ex-husband that there had to be a better way. There had to be a better way to divorce. There had to be a way to restructure families. As I've said, families need not be broken, but can be peacefully and respectfully restructured. And if you've ever been in a session with an angry spouse where all they want to do is vent or hijack the session, you know what it's like to be with someone who feels out of control. But I give you the tools to help those people understand that under their anger is a lot of pain and sadness. And when they have the courage to be vulnerable, to speak for their pain and sadness, their partner can hear them, they can empathize, and they can resolve conflict in the highest good for all concerned. So if you're a therapist, you'll get new skills. If you're a coach, you're going to get an expertise. If you're an attorney, you're going to learn how to help your clients be their best self and heal their relationship even as they're ending it. And even though it may cut down on your fees for adversarial process, as a lawyer, you're going to be known as an expert who's going to attract more clients because they're going to know if they come to you to dissolve their marriage, it doesn't destroy their family. It doesn't make their finances at risk, but you can truly help them create a better relationship, even if it's a new separation or divorce. And if you're clergy, you can help bring spirituality back to a relationship. Because when someone's coming from their higher self, they are connected to the God within them, their true self, their higher nature. And I asked that in the first session, and I give you the tools to ask too. I ask, what is your word for spiritual, is what I ask all my clients, because that's my word for self. And if it's higher nature, if it's the universe, if it's God, I'll say, where is God? And they will say, God is inside. And that's what I mean by self. And in my settlement prayer that I wrote for my husband the night before we got divorced, I wrote a prayer that asks that we come from our highest self to remember the love that we once shared and hopefully can remember, and that we create two loving and peaceful homes. Excuse me. That's what I want to help you help your clients do. So if you have any questions, please put chat in the chat Go to lindakroll.com certify to get a time with me. Go to the roadmap and get the outline of everything I'm talking with you about. But don't let your ambivalence stand in the way. If you're here, if you're listening, even for a few minutes, it's because you're being nudged. That small little voice of your soul is saying, let me check this out. Let me check her out. Let me ask a few more questions. Let me see if this is really something that's going to be helpful to me and to my clients. And if it is, we're going to have a great journey together, where not only will you transform your own relationships in your life and your relationship with yourself, but you truly will have a transformational toolkit that you don't have right now. And you're going to have hands-on guidance from me, mentoring, support. You're going to have a community with cutting-edge tools and techniques that aren't being taught anywhere else. And the interviewing tips are all templated. My meditations are all scripted. And we talk about marketing too. We talk about mindset. We talk about how we want to get out there in a bigger way, but we can't. Some of you might want to create your own courses, and I'll give you the benefit of all that I've learned. But most of all, I want you to know you're going to get personal and professional support. You're going to get inspiration, mentoring, and you're going to be part of a community that fosters the best of who you are, because you know that you're supposed to be serving people. I'm sure you're doing it now. There's a part of you that may want to do it in a bigger way. I want to help you do it. So please join me. Go to lindakroll.com certify. Go to lindakroll.com roadmap. Come join me. And I would love to connect. And if it's not a fit for you now, that's okay. I'd still like to meet you and just share who you are and how we can connect and move forward and how I can support you in any way possible. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope to see you on the call. It'll be a Zoom call. It'll be live. And there's so much more I want to share. So bring your questions, bring anything you'd like me to help you with. We'll spend 15 minutes, have a chat, have some coffee. And if this feels like a fit, we're starting soon. And I promise, should you choose to drop in and join me, it is going to be a transformational experience that will change your life, change your practice, and hopefully give you the support and mentoring that you want, you need, and you deserve. And I thank you for being here, and I look forward to staying connected. So thanks so much, and we'll talk soon. Bye for now.